Good day, folks. Welcome back to Ed's Garage at Merton Hyundai. Today we are looking at the all-new, brand new model, the 22 Santa Cruz. That's right, we have a 2022 Santa Cruz on the lot. Now this one is in the preferred trim. Thanks for the cameo there, thank you. And honestly, guys, I can say this thing looks awesome. Let's check out all of the cool features. Let's see if we can find a few Easter eggs, and we'll go over everything and take it for a spin. So first off, we're going to start at the front. Now, like the Tucson, like the redesigned Tucson, this one does have this really cool, now they call it parametric design grille with the integrated daytime running lights. Let's see what that looks like. All right, there we go with the daytime running lights turned on. So how cool is that going to look behind you when you're driving down the highway and you see that coming up behind you? You're not going to know what it is until you do, in which case it's going to be incredibly recognizable because there's really nothing else like that out there on the market, with the exception, of course, of the Tucson. Now, you'll notice, though, that this has sort of 3 levels, whereas the Tucson has 4. So it is a little bit different. Now, also on the front, we do have, on this particular trim level, halogen headlights, but they are a projection lens. So a nice clean throw from those lenses. And honestly, I was actually really surprised to find that it didn't have the air curtain pass-through. I'm so used to talking about it on Hyundai vehicles, but for whatever reason, not on this vehicle. Now this one, of course, the Santa Cruz was designed and engineered in California and built in Alabama. So maybe the fact that it was designed by people in California, maybe they didn't think they needed the air curtain pass-through. Anyway, let's check out the wheels on this. So these ones are a Krugen tire from Kumho, and they're 245/60/18. And honestly, great looking wheels. Again, Hyundai has knocked it out of the park with these wheels. Aluminum alloy rims, of course, and just a really cool look. Now, wrapping around the wheels on the fenders, check this out. You got a cool little pattern going along here. And there's our first little Easter egg, a little picture of a Santa Cruz. All right, walking down the side of the Santa Cruz, we have marker lights on the mirrors. And of course, in the mirrors, you do have the blind spot monitoring. Of course, there is proximity entry as standard in Canada. And you got this cool body cladding going all the way along the bottom here. So of course, this vehicle is meant for adventures. You take it on a gravel road, you don't have to worry too much about rocks flipping up and damaging the side of the vehicle. Now we're going to come to the business end of the vehicle. So on the back, there's a lot to talk about, and there's a couple things on this key fob that I want to show you. Check this out. If I hold this button on the key fob, bam, the tailgate opens up, and you noticed it was actually a dampened tailgate. It opened up nice and slowly. No need to worry about it flopping open. Now, the other cool thing on the key fob, of course, is remote start. So remote start is now also standard. Now, checking out the back of the vehicle here, now you do have a standard tonneau cover in Canada, so we don't have to worry about spending money on the tonneau cover. Now, in regards to that tonneau cover, I want to point out, most people are going to be comparing the Santa Cruz to the Ford Maverick. The tonneau cover on ours is free. On the Ford Maverick, you do have to buy it. I believe it's a $650 option, but it's also not as nice. So we have this really cool tonneau cover. You can see we've got the strap here to pull it back. And it actually does one other thing. First off, you can stand on this. It's really strong. But check this out. If I don't want it open all the way, all I have to do is just set that there and it stays in that spot or all the way. Now, the other cool thing is underneath the tonneau cover, of course, you have the bed. But check this out. Under the bed, you also have a trunk. Now, one thing that's really smart about this is that if you compare this to the Honda Ridgeline, you'll notice there's no spare tire. The spare tire is still kept underneath the vehicle. So what that means is if you have the bed full of stuff, maybe you've got a load of dirt in there and you get a flat tire, well, in the Ridgeline, you got to get the dirt out in order to get the spare tire. On ours, you don't. You just go underneath. The spare tire is down there. Pretty simple. So lots of space in that trunk, and it's really cool actually. It's completely waterproof. There's a little plug on the left-hand side here, so you can actually use this as a cooler. You load it up with ice, you put your beers in there, and then when you're all done, you pull the plug out, you drain it out. Pretty cool. On the right-hand side of the bed here, you can see we have storage compartment with 120 volt power outlet. We've got bed tie downs. Now these are movable, really easy to move as well. As a matter of fact, see they lock into various places just like that. Easy to move. You got bed lighting here, so LED lights there, and then of course on the back there is also a strip light. tie down on this side, another cubby hole on this side, and you'll notice actually, check this out, you got these little shelves right here. What that's for is if you go ahead and put the tailgate into the upper position, so you take this guy off right here, put it right there, and then you do the same thing on that side. You'll notice the height of this is exactly the same as the height of that, which means you can put a 4x8 sheet of plywood in here. All right, now we know that every company will advertise their dimensions, but what does it actually mean in person? So let's check out, first of all, the box depth from the very, very back to the end of the tailgate. So right to the end of the tailgate, we've got 6 foot 2 inches. And then let's check out the box width above and below the wheel arches. And the width of that is 4 foot 2 inches. And then within the wheel arches, we have about 43 inches, just shy of 43 inches there. Now, if we were to hypothetically put a 4x8 sheet of plywood in there, it's going to stick out about that far. So we're looking at just shy of 6 feet, 2 inches shy of 6 feet. So 2 feet 2 inches are going to stick out of the back. So of course, what you would do is essentially put a tie down or rope on that tie down there, wrap it around, and then clip it to the other side. So this vehicle can actually carry successfully a sheet of plywood without sticking out too far. The other cool thing to note is these little divots right here. You can see one here, one over there, and then one on either side. That's actually for a 2x6. So if you wanted to actually have a little platform here, or maybe a brace for something, you could put 2x6s across and use that for some extra bracing. Now, of course, getting into the tailgate, now it's not a very big tailgate. If I were to lean over, I could very easily put my hand on the bottom of the bed floor there and grab stuff. But if we wanted to get into, you work on tie downs or whatever, there's actually a step on both sides of the bumper. So you just put your foot there and jump in. Not bad. Now, payload in this vehicle is actually pretty spectacular. Again, somewhere where we actually are beating the Ford Maverick. Payload is actually a maximum of 1,748 pounds, which actually beats some quarter-ton pickup trucks. That's crazy. Now, the other cool thing about this is the towing ability. So with that 275 horsepower and 310 foot-pounds of torque mated to that 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, you can actually tow up to 5,000 pounds with this little sport adventure vehicle. All right, jumping out of the bed of the Santa Cruz, one of the most important things, especially for older folks, is how easy is it to lift this tailgate. We don't want it to be too heavy. Now we know it's a dampened tailgate, so that should help in opening it. Let's see what I can do here. So I'm going to start with one finger. Let's see if we can do it with one finger. There you go. How easy is that? All right, another cool thing with this one is the protected side of the box. Check this out. We've also got a little Easter egg right there, another little picture of a Santa Cruz. It's grippy, so you can stand on it if you need to, but it's very, very strong, so you can put stuff on top of there as well if necessary. Same goes for the bumper. Again, another cool little Easter egg. You got another Santa Cruz there, and again, nice and grippy for standing on. On the back tailgate, you can see we got Santa Cruz written all across the back, and of course, H-Track all-wheel drive 2.5 liter turbo. Now the H-Track all-wheel drive system is a predictive system. It's a spectacular system. I'll try to show you that a little bit on the test drive as well. All right, having a quick look underneath the Santa Cruz, you can see our spare tire mounted there. It is just a temporary spare, just a dummy tire. But you'll notice the bottom of the vehicle is pretty flat. There's no differential sticking out anywhere because, of course, this is four-wheel independent suspension. And it, of course, has coil springs in the back and in the front. Now, one nice thing about this, of course, is you're going to get a much better ride. As far as ground clearance is about 8.6 inches. Now, this isn't a lean, mean off-roading machine by any means. However, it's going to do just fine on things like Forest Service roads or, some sandy ruts or whatnot. It'll be just fine. Let's check out the inside of the Santa Cruz now. Now, by inside, I mean inside the engine bay. No, I just forgot. We're going to do the engine bay first, though. All right, so check this out. That 2.5 liter Smart Stream turbocharged engine. This is a dual injection engine, guys. It's both GDI and multi-port injection, so great fuel efficiency and actually nice clean burning as well, keeping those valves nice and clean with the multi-port injection. It's got breakaway motor mounts again, so we don't actually have crash safety tests yet. We don't have any data on that yet, but rest assured, like every other Hyundai, it'll probably be a top safety pick. Under here, though, I want to point out a couple of things. Big battery, okay? So lots of power there. It's a 600 cold cranking amp battery. We've got the air filter right here, so you can see just how easy it is to change the air filter. Check that out. 30 seconds, you got a new air filter. There's your under engine fuse box there. Now, like all Hyundais, hundreds of feet of structural adhesive usage, so very, very good torsional resistance. And look at this. How nice is that? They actually cover up the sides there. You got good quality sort of leaf air blocker thing here. It's not some cheap sponge. Underhood insulation, and it's actually held on really, really tight, so you don't have to worry about that falling over time. And of course, you have firewall insulation in the back there as well. Of course, this one is turbocharged, and you can see it's getting its air right from here up into the front of the vehicle. So basically a factory cold air intake going into the engine. All right, so I'm gonna jump in the back here, but before I do, I will point out that I have put the front seat in the position that I would drive it in. So we're gonna see how much knee room, leg room, headroom there is. Now, granted, this is a compact pickup truck, so it's not gonna be immense, but you'll see I've actually got a little bit of room in front of my knees here. I've got a ton of headroom, so that's perfectly fine. The seat's actually quite comfortable. It's not too far upright. Some reviewers have said that it's too upright, and quite frankly, it's fine. We've got grab handles on both sides. We've got access to a light back here. Both of the seat backs do have pockets for storage, and they both have cup holders in the doors right here, so you can put your drinks there, no problem. I love this though. It says, bottles are okay, open cups are not. I guess that's for when you're closing the door. You don't want it splashing around. There's lots of room underneath the front seat, and the front seat does have height adjustment, of course. So I can actually very easily put my feet there. Same goes for the passenger side, which is stationary, but you can see there's a ton of room under that seat. All right, so now I've gotten into the front seat, and I actually immediately moved the seat all the way back. It's actually too far for me to drive comfortably now, but I wanted to see just how much room there was here. You can see my legs are very, very straight. I do, of course, have the ability to raise and lower the seat, and now you'll notice when I lower it, so if you are a taller individual, if I lower it, it actually moves back as well while you're lowering it, and you can see now my feet are just barely reaching the dead pedal there. So I obviously couldn't drive like this, but there is a ton of legroom and a ton of headroom. Not a problem for taller people. Now, for taller people, obviously there's going to be a lot less room behind the front seat now, but you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt. All right, so let's check out some of the features in this vehicle. So first off, on the left-hand side of the dashboard here, this one's obvious, your dimmer switch, your traction stability control. This one is a new button for Hyundai, and look, another little Easter egg. It's a little picture of a Santa Cruz. How cool is that? When I turn that on, basically what that does is turns on the bed illumination. So you got the LED lights there, there, and up there, and that's all turned on now. So you can have that on all the time. And it's really cool. It offers a lot of light in there. All right, so as for the steering wheel, it is of course a tilt and telescopic steering wheel. It is fully wrapped in leather, and it's also completely heated. So all the way around, it's a heated steering wheel. On the steering wheel itself, we got a few functions here. So you got your voice recognition for Apple CarPlay and Google Assistant, your answer calls, your customizable button, which you can do a few different things with. So you can set it up to end a call, change hands-free calling device, put the vehicle into privacy, or put the phone call into privacy mode, or just record a voice memo. And then on the right-hand side, you've got the two controls for your little digital screen there, which I'll cover in a moment. You've also got cruise control as well, and the lane follow assist, which I'll demonstrate on the test drive. You also have paddle shifters, so you can shift gears manually using paddles on the steering wheel in this sport adventure vehicle. Pretty neat. You got automatic headlights, of course, and on the right-hand side, you've got your windshield wiper stock. Now, looking at the center console, first off, the console storage space, quite large, quite deep, lots of space in there. You've got heated seats on both sides, and the heated steering wheel button there, of course. You've got the automatic e-brake, which of course you can set right here, and when you put the vehicle into driver reverse, it does turn the e-brake off for you. You've also got a button here to enable and disable the backup camera, so if I press that, you can see that beautiful backup camera screen with the dynamic steering lights. Very, very nice clear image, and of course you can also adjust it to look straight down. And then right above that, you can see we've got the hill descent assist, which I'll show you on the test drive as well, the drive and terrain modes, and so it has 3 drive modes. You can see here, we can put it into, let's zoom in a little bit there, So if I hit the drive terrain button, it switches between drive and terrain. In drive, I've got normal, sport, and smart. Normal mode is normal. Sport will actually put the vehicle into a sort of a peppier, sportier drive. It'll keep it in a lower gear for a longer period of time. Smart mode looks at how you're driving and adjusts accordingly, whether it's dynamic or economically. By the way, sport mode also tightens up the steering wheel as well. Terrain modes, snow, mud, and sand. Basically what that does is it actually adjusts the all-wheel drive system accordingly. So in snow, mud, and sand, it's capable of locking the center differential and applying more traction control, so more aggressive traction control to sort of lock in the slipping wheels, and it actually makes a big difference. All right, looking further forward, you can see we've got a nice little storage compartment there for my pen, 2 USB ports, one USB port here for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and another USB port there to charge a passenger's phone, and of course a 12-volt power outlet. Further up, we do have manual climate control with air conditioning, of course, and again, another cool little Easter egg. The picture for the recirculate is actually a little Santa Cruz, pretty cool. 8-inch touchscreen, non-polarized, so you can wear polarized sunglasses. It's a very, very awesome touchscreen, honestly, guys. It's very responsive, works great. And the cool thing with this system is that it actually has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. When you go to set up your phone, you'll notice actually that it gives you the option for wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Pretty sick. So you can see right there is a Wi-Fi icon right next to Blue Link, which is the next cool thing on this vehicle. Blue Link actually allows you to remote start the car, unlock the doors, lock the doors, find it on a map, access things like the buttons up here, the SOS button for emergency assistance, roadside assistance, all of that free for 3 years from Hyundai. Very, very cool system. It also has automated emergency system, so if you get into an accident, it calls emergency services for you. Really easy to use radio. If you've seen any of my other Hyundai videos, you'll see more in-depth analysis of how the system works, but check this out. All of your presets are on the left-hand side, whether they're AM, FM, or the included 3-month free of satellite radio. It does also have HD radio as well. Now this is the stock system in this one, so 6-speaker stock system. It's pretty good, but of course the upper trim levels will have the Bose audio with the subwoofer. All right, having a quick look at the instrument cluster. So you've got your speedometer on the left, your tachometer on the right, and in the middle, this cool little infographic screen here, which shows you quite a few different things. So let's go through this list real quick, and I'm going to do that using the buttons on the steering wheel here. So this one will actually cycle across the top to the right, and then this one here, we can go up and down in the menus and enter the menus by pressing the OK button. So first off, on the digital speedometer screen, I can very quickly switch it to miles per hour simply by holding that OK button. And then also in here, we have our trip A. Now you'll notice this is actually fuel consumption as well. We have trip B, and then right here is trip C. So it's kind of like 3 trip computers. Now if I move over one, you can see we've got our user settings where we can go through and change certain things. I'm going to give you an example of one of those things. For instance, in the lights, we can change the one-touch turn signal to 3, 5, or 7 flashes. That's when you simply tap the stock and it flashes on its own, however many times you've set it. Also in here, you've got your high beam assist. So this vehicle is capable of shutting the high beams off when it detects a car in front of you. It detects a car, it shuts off the high beams, turns them back on once you pass that vehicle. Pretty cool. There's also some driver assistance features in here as well. So obviously this one has autonomous emergency braking. It has lane safety, which I'll demonstrate on the test drive. It's got blind spot monitor with rear cross traffic alert, and it's also got active assist on the blind spot. So if it detects a car there, it'll actually brake the opposite wheels to prevent you from inadvertently causing a collision. The rear cross traffic safety alert can be enabled and disabled from there as well. And then driver attention, you've got leading vehicle departure alert. So if the car in front of you starts to take off, you'll get a reminder, and inattentive driver warning. If you are becoming inattentive while driving, it'll actually give you a suggestion to take a coffee break. Pretty cool. You've got your info screen here for the all-wheel drive system, as well as, check that out, it shows you if the tonneau cover is open, because there's actually somebody behind me right now playing with the tonneau cover. And then you've also got on this screen your attention level and your lane keep assist system, and check that out, a little picture of a Santa Cruz. Up along the beautiful black headliner, of course, you have sun visors with mirrors. They also slide out, and they've got lights. And of course, on this side here, you have your interior lighting system as well. Pretty straightforward stuff in the Preferred trim. All right, so driving the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. This is pretty exciting for me. We've been waiting for this vehicle for, well, 6 years since the original prototype back in 2015. So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty interesting driving it. So, of course, this is, 285 horsepower out of that 2.5 liter turbocharged engine. And so we're going to take it onto the highway here in a minute. So now this one is equipped with the lane follow assist, which is already working. So it's working pretty well, actually, just around these light corners at slow speeds. Now, first impression, as soon as I jumped in the vehicle, I got to say the driver's seat is actually really comfortable. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a manual seat, no power adjustment. However, it's got great back support, lower back support as well, and even though you can't adjust it, it's pretty comfortable. Now, ultimately, in the Trend and Ultimate trims, obviously there's going to be a little bit more adjustment in the higher seat or in the higher trim levels, but I gotta say, this is not bad at all. It's pretty comfortable. Woo! Holy cow! Okay, that's really good. That's unexpectedly good, guys. I didn't want to go too crazy. Obviously, it's a brand new vehicle, but yeah, acceleration is from a stop is awesome. All right, so let's jump onto the freeway, see what the road noise is like. I imagine it's probably pretty similar to the Tucson. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a quick little vehicle. That obviously with that 4-cylinder, I mean, you can hear the engine rev up pretty good, but it's not obnoxiously loud. All right, so this one doesn't have the adaptive cruise control. That'll be in the upper trim. It does have cruise control though, and it still, like I said, has the lane follow assist, and of course on the highway it has the highway or the lane keep assist functionality. So both of those now working in conjunction work pretty good. Now, I gotta say though, road noise is very good. It's very low. I'd say that this is better than the Tucson. I don't know if that's true or not, or if that's accurate, or how that's even possible, because they are on the same platform. Yeah, it's definitely better. Wind noise is pretty minor as well. I can hear a little bit of wind coming off the mirrors, but it's not loud at all. It's pretty good. As for the actual ride, things like going over bumps and stuff like that, it's fine. It kind of reminds me of the Tucson in that regard. It does have a longer wheelbase, so I imagine it's probably a little bit smoother as well. But there's no craziness. There's no like wiggling of the back end, or no weird noises or anything like that you're not expecting. The steering wheel seems really small in this vehicle. It's kind of got a sporty feel to it. Now, as far as visibility goes, the rear view mirror, I'm looking at the rear window here, and it's a little narrower. So the rear window is slightly narrower than the rear view mirror. So I can see the top and the bottom portion of the rear window. It's kind of hard to explain. It's taking up maybe 5% of the top of the mirror and 5% of the bottom of the mirror. As far as the rear window width in the rear mirror, in order to see the whole rear window, I do need to actually move my head a little bit. So the rear view mirror is not bad. Can very easily see behind, but there is, of course, that small window that you can open up back there that's blocking a little bit of the view. But it's not terrible by any means. As far as blind spot visibility, it's quite good. There is the little sort of ramp up on the rear windows that does take away from the rear or from the view a tiny bit, but it's still very reasonable. And of course, with the blind view or blind spot monitor, that kind of negates that problem anyway. What I really like about the Santa Cruz, well, about all Hyundais really, is that anytime you have an image of the vehicle in the screen, it actually shows you the vehicle you're driving, which is pretty cool. So it's not just some generic car. It's actually a picture of a Santa Cruz with the tonneau cover currently closed. I wonder if that changes with the tonneau cover open. Wouldn't that be cool? I'll have to check that. See if it makes this corner, and it's not going to because there's no line on the right hand side. So it didn't quite make that corner. It tried, but it wasn't quite enough. So now I'm purposely going to go over a road that has a lot of rough sections like bumps and stuff like that. I think what we're going to find is that it's pretty good over these rougher sections here, and you'll be able to tell just by how much my body is moving in relation to the vehicle. But yeah, this has got some nice corners on it as well, so let's give this a shot. All right, so there's already some bumps on the road there. Oh yeah, it's just soaking up these bumps, no problem at all. Absolutely no drama. This is a nice car, guys. A nice sport adventure vehicle. Woo. I did hesitate a little bit before downshifting there, but once it downshifted, it just took off. Going up hills here, lots of bumps, and still very smooth. All right, let's see how it does on this little hill climb here. Absolutely no problem at all. Handling, we got a sharp corner here. It says caution 30. We're taking it at 55 before the tires start to break loose. Not bad, not bad. It handles like an, well, I would say better than the Tucson. Mind you, I haven't taken the Tucson up here, but it seems like because the back is a box and not, you know, the back end of an SUV, there's actually obviously going to be a little bit less weight back there. And that seems to make a bit of a difference, not to mention the fact that the wheelbase is longer. So I suspect that there's probably less understeer on this in comparison to your typical SUV. We're stuck behind a slow Tesla. Kidding, of course, but we are stuck behind a Tesla. So it's just eating up these corners and eating up this hill like it's nothing. I can see why this vehicle pulls 5,000 pounds. It would just be so easy for it to do. I don't know if you can see that, guys, but it's pretty cool to see all-wheel drive. Like right now I'm doing 50 kilometers an hour, and if I accelerate, it's clearly showing me that all wheels are getting power. That's really nice to see. If this hill was covered in snow, we would have no trouble at all. This thing would just fly up like it's nothing. Of course, with that H-Track all-wheel drive system, it's predictive, so it's putting power to all four wheels under any sort of acceleration, even, it would seem, over 70 kilometers an hour. It's funny, I can feel the lane follow assist kind of trying to keep me in my lane a little bit, but going up these little twisty hills, I'm definitely cutting across the yellow line a little bit. So it's almost as if the car knows what I'm doing and is trying to help out. What a great drive. Man, this is a nice car. You know, I wish Hyundai would do it. If this thing was an EV, if it had an EV drivetrain, I'd have bought it in a second. Let's see what the performance is. Engine braking. All right, so taking it down the steep hill now. Yeah, I mean, engine braking's not gonna be great. It's not a very large engine, 2.5 liter. So I'm going down the hill in second gear now, 50 kilometers an hour, and I am accelerating. It is a pretty steep hill, I will say that. All right, so hill descent, not spectacular using engine braking, but of course it does have four-wheel disc brakes. And they're pretty good brakes, so not too worried about it. Now I do have hill descent assist, but that of course is only for lower speeds. So seeing as we have nobody behind us right now, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a shot. So with the hill descent assist, basically it speeds under 40 kilometers an hour. If we let go of the brakes, there we go. Hill descent is working great. I can hear a bit of a clicking in the brake as it's doing that, as it's adjusting. The lane keep assist noise, a lane departure warning, that's what it sounds like. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I'll get it to do it again here for you. All right, so similar to other Hyundai vehicles. I've got to get this vehicle back to the shop for its initial inspection because I haven't done that. So I'm going to tidy up this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Take care. Have a great day.